All right. Let's get busy. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, your man, your boy, your cousin, your uncle, A.D. Walker. So I appreciate you guys rocking with us this morning, being here and hanging out. Because you could have been anywhere, but you're rocking with us. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Tag somebody in the broadcast. Blessings, Lisa. Blessings. Thank you for rocking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. We appreciate you. We have a great show today. We are continuing our conversation in the voting space. Let's do this. Bam. So we are continuing to talk about voting, your power, leveraging, and what we can do to be more effective with our vote, and all that, as well as some resources. And if you're on the text, if you're part of our text community, the 84576, text brothers to 84576. If you're part of that community, good morning, Pastor. If you're part of that community, make sure you will be getting the links that we'll be discussing around 9:15ish, 9:30ish. No, 9:15ish. That's what I scheduled it for. So if you get a text, it is from me, or from us.
Coming up at 1:15, we'll be discussing
Right.
like a radio.
I feel like I need to start doing that. Right. Coming this half hour. But first up,
on the docket, let's see what I have this morning is
right. I'm telling you, we got to get to that. But then again, like, I think about that, but I don't want to take away from the free flow of conversation when it gets good, trying to move on. Radio, that's what they do. The conversation starts, oh, well, we got to move on. Like, wait, we really starting to dig. I got a commercial break. And then next up, like, wait, this is getting good, so. So yes, we're going to continue our conversation about voting, some of the resources. Pastor, did we get cleared up? We did. And you're gonna talk about the vote.
I gotta wait till the crowd is here. Since I ran my mouth on the crowd, but I gotta wait for the crowd to eat crow.
It's good. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff we talked about
Mom,
yesterday.
good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mama Corey.
Morning, Lisa.
Morning. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Boom. Okay, cool. All right.
Humble myself under the mighty hand of politics.
Right. So make sure you share. This is going to be a great conversation. We're going to be digging into voting this whole week. The thing is, we digging into politics, but we're not talking about politicians per se. I mean, some folks going to get called out in the midst because it's just part of the landscape. But, the point is, it's about voting. This is about voting and what we can do to be more effective in our voting, to be more knowledgeable in our voting, so we're making better decisions. He said non-technically crow. Good morning, Gerald. So this is your opportunity to share. Sharing is caring. Let the world know that the Brothers of Legacy is on. And so we can dig into this. I'm excited. This is topics that we definitely need to talk more about. These are things that are affecting our community. This is where our leverage come from. This is where the money, the funds, the things that change our community, and how we could all live better in our communities, and having the right people in place, the right laws in place, the right politicians in place, those that will serve the community and not just take from the community. All right. So we're going to dig into that, and we'll be right back. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another edition. Good morning. Everybody. Right. Yes, indeed. So this edition of Brothers of Legacy is brought to you by Crest. Oh man,
Crest whitening strips.
There you go.
Keep your smile alive with Crest whitening strips.
Crest whitening strips.
I had
Pure
no idea that
polish.
my teeth were yellow and discolored until I tried Crest whitening strips, and now I have a smile that
There you go.
lights up the room.
That lights up the room. Oh man, I was behind in the polls until I put on them Crest whitening strips, and now I'm up by 20 points. All right.
Have you ever struggled with the darkening of your teeth from drinking too much coffee?
Getting our practice on, guys. We're getting our practice. Take note. Take note.
We're gonna get some sponsors. Sponsorships are coming.
Yes, indeed. All right. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Cole? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Willette. There we go. Kathy in the building.
Kathy Wiley.
Yes, indeed, in the building. All
Kathy
right, guys.
Wiley, were you at Bible study last night? Did I see your name on Bible study last night? Miss Wiley, I did. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you got something out of that last night, my dear.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So we're talking about, like we said, this week we're talking about voting. Yes. Oh yeah. This is a serious week. This is a serious week. We're talking about voting, and all the components, and how to properly, and I want to talk about leveraging your vote, some of the ways to be an informed voter. And I've really been digging to some of these websites. Haven't found an app yet. I'm sure there's one out there. Haven't found an app yet, but some of the websites are great, especially even mobile applications. What's up, Dwayne? Great morning to you, sir.
What up? What up?
Morning, sir.
So the first thing I want to talk about is how to be an informed voter. All right, go ahead, Pastor. Got the finger up.
Before we go any further,
yes, indeed.
Let me first and foremost apologize to every listener out there.
All right.
One thing that I've learned about preaching the gospel is that in the gospel, we know that there are four. Technically, we can say that there are five if you consider Paul's writings in the book of Acts, but there are four gospel writers, right. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Right.
And each of them tells a story from a different vantage point. But after preaching for so many years, I realized that the singular thread that keeps those stories aligned, the commonality of all the stories, is Jesus. Mm-hmm. That's the basis, the foundation of each of their stories. Right. Each of them had different careers, tax, physician. The point that I'm trying to make is they all tell a story. There's a certain story that they all tell, and they all tell it different ways. And I preached a message entitled, "Get Your Story Straight." And people can take what they want out of each of the stories. But one thing that's straight about every one of the stories is Jesus. That's what makes them the gospel. So I tell people in life, get your story straight. Keep your facts in order. Don't get to talking and you don't have something to say. Yesterday, I was talking and I ran too far and I got out of bounds with my pontification.
There you go. Okay.
I openly criticized Mike Glanton, District 75 in Clayton County, because I said, call him because he voted for the new voter suppression laws. Right. And I was incorrect. He did not vote for the law.
Right.
So that was the wrong statement to make. And the information that I got was that he supported that law. The reality is he did not vote in favor of the law. And I want to correct that. And I will apologize to Mike Glanton if somebody ran up and called him and told him what I said.
All right.
So I want to make sure that we get that straight. That's number one. Number two, and I thank God, I'm going to tip my hat and give a shout out to my sister. I have two critical researchers in my life. One is my wife, and the other one is my sister, my little sister, Latrice Rollins, who tried to correct me online yesterday, and I didn't listen to her. She was like, she was being soft with it. I don't think he voted for it because she's about as humble as pie, that she's
Yes.
humble, and she should have shouted it from the rooftop. But she texted me afterwards and she sent me the link and showed me that he did not vote for that law.
Right.
In fact, he didn't vote at all.
Right. Right. So he did not vote.
So let me be clear.
Right.
He did not vote for the law.
Right.
And I hate to take this opportunity to shame him again, but this time I'm gonna shame him because we pay you to vote. We
Right.
pay you for your voice. We don't get paid to exercise our voice. You are
Right.
paid to exercise your voice.
Yes.
And a no vote is support,
Mm.
Mr. Glanton. Because you're a politician. We put you in office to fight on our behalf.
Right.
And you didn't show up for the fight.
Right.
So why are you sitting in that office?
Right.
All right, I'm done.
So for clarity, we're not sure why he didn't vote. It just, but the looks of it looks like, I'm just saying, the looks just like, why would you not cast your ballot? Why would you not? You know, it to me this seems like.
Answer the question, Mr. Glanton. Why didn't you vote?
Yeah, if that's the
Something
clarity.
so critical. You didn't vote on something that has everything to do with our vote.
Right. That's a big one.
Can you please explain that to us? I'm not going to shame you and tell you that it's a doggone shame that you didn't vote. You might have a legitimate reason for not being in your position. You might have a legitimate reason for not being where you're supposed to be.
Right.
You might have a real reason. Somebody was sick, loved one, and if so, we praying for you and for delivery and all of that. But can you please explain to us why you were not able to vote about voting, something as critical as voting?
Yeah, Cole, I do agree. It would just seem like your father says, silence is consent. Silence is consent.
So you're trying to say that Craig need to get fired on his day off? I mean, this is brought to you by Disney. Remember the Titans. You're killing me, Petey.
No, all jokes aside, though, I really want to make sure that, because I'm not so big that I can't come on here and really recognize that I was wrong. I spoke incorrectly, and I really want to thank God for people who care enough about me, who don't want me to look silly publicly. My sister always has my back, and I appreciate that.
Yes,
okay, so we can move on. Thank you all for listening to
put us on the tree. All right. So the first thing I want to...
Can we talk about that for a second?
Talk about?
Not him in particular, but just that premise.
About the 9 vote? Yeah, man.
No, about how literally that's what we pay you to do.
Oh,
that's what tax
you got one job.
You to do.
You got one job.
Yeah. And here is an example of where it can seem harsh.
Yeah.
But who does it affect? So yeah, when you get paid to vote,
right?
I mean, literally, you get paid to vote.
Right.
There's nothing else. You don't get paid to sound political. That comes with the territory.
Right.
But you are a paid voter.
Yes.
Who's not voting. I don't think this is equivalent to, I plead the fifth.
Right.
Because in just once again an opinion, but my opinion is when you plead a fifth, either you did it or whatever you did made it look like you did it. So there is no clarification without you speaking. So when you never speak, when you never put your point in, then it's almost like, I kind of agree with it.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to the, when we was talking about the Black Lives Matter, we was talking about the movement, we was talking about, Pastor says, what means most is how white people support us is taking these conversations we're having here into your group where you're around your people and they start talking about certain things and you stand up and say something. That's where the fight, that's where we need you in the fight. We need you in the places that we're not, that they won't, people won't get so deep, and feel more passionate, when we're around, because, it's going to cause some problems. So they're going to talk about it amongst themselves and you're sitting there and you hear it. That's where you speak up. That's where the change happens. That's where you can throw in tidbits of things that, these guys aren't thinking about, aren't seeing, they may not realize. So it's right. When not speaking up, like I said, it's like silent consent, so it is imperative that you vote. It's imperative. I mean, of course, not just us, and kind of flipping it back on us. Like, you're not voting for stuff is like silent consent, that either you're fine with what's going on, or you don't care. So it matters. It definitely matters. He said, Cole said, we do have many politicians walk up to the place of voting and act like Dave Chappelle to my fifth. So
fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth.
Yeah, so it's definitely imperative that and this is what it's all about. And these are the depths of conversation I want to have here, not just attacking a party, but let's talk about the politicians. Let's talk about who's in your district. What are they doing? What are they voting for? Because you voted for Ossoff and you voted for Warnock. Those that voted for him, you sent them to Washington to vote on the things that matter, for your life, for your community. That's why you voted for them, because you felt like they are aligned with most of your principles, so they're going to vote in this particular manner. And them not voting is like, what I sent you to Washington for? Or locally, what did I send you to Clayton County for? If you're not going to go in there and cash your ballot, let me know. So I could take that $30,000, $40,000 job, and I can go ahead and do the work. Like, if you're having issues, you can't vote, it's fine. Let me do it. So it's, yeah, like I said, if there's a reasoning, and if Dr. Rollins is on, or she sees this later, or if any of you guys know the gentleman, what's his name? You say Glenn, right?
Mike Glanton.
And if
Glanton, you know him, Glanton.
Yes, indeed. Mike Glanton. If you know him, connected to him, 7 people connected to him.
So Dr. Rollins can ask. See, Dr. Rollins can email him. Okay. So she live in March like that.
All right. Yeah. So
Dr. Rollins can send him an email.
So we're gonna find out. We're gonna dig in and get some understanding. He said, understand something. Elected officials have 4 types of voting choice: yes, no, present, and abstain. Right. And I don't like. I'd rather yes or no. Say something. Right. Say something. Be for. Be against it.
So you mean, sir, that even if I know that my vote is not going to make a difference, and we need like 30 more votes,
right?
It's not okay if I don't vote.
Nope. To me, I'd rather at least know where you stand.
So I show you that I'm shaky, right? That I'm being shady.
Right.
That's what is that what I'm projecting when I don't vote, because
right,
we need 31 votes to win, and there's only 4 people left voting. I still need to vote.
Right. Listen, I remember a vice president debate. It was Dick Cheney and who was Al Gore running mate. I can't remember his name. But I remember Dick Cheney hit him right in the stomach when he said, "Yes, along." He said, as vice president, I'm over the Senate," and he was like, "I think this is probably one of the few times I've had an opportunity to actually see you." Like I don't barely see you come into the chambers. I don't hardly see, was it Lieberman? And I remember that I was like, "Ooh, that was a gut check." So it's real, and you can look it up. Like, check his voting record, see how many times he's voted. See how much time he's actually doing the work. Or at least in these chambers doing the work. So it's that your one job. That's what we hire you.
Our politicians. Listen, if we're going to check the citizens,
right,
we have to double check our politicians.
Yes. Definitely.
I'd like to see the voting record of my peers. I'd like to know how many of us out here that are shouting from the rooftops are actually expressing ourselves in the ballot box. Right. I'd like to know. I'd like to know, who the real warriors are.
Right.
Are you just talking, or are you walking out what you're saying? Now that would be something to behold.
Right.
How many of
Right.
these leaders out here
Right.
pushing the vote, encouraging people to get out and vote, have not voted themselves?
Right.
You know,
Right.
I love
You know what
people.
that reminds me of, Pastor?
What's that?
It reminds me of being in the 8th grade. I remember being in the 8th grade. I attempted to start
Right.
a prayer group during recess in the 8th grade. And I had every denomination of Christian represented. This was all us, 8th graders. I had every demographic. So it was looking like kumbaya when we walk out to the recess area. And then after we prayed, I was just that young dude. It was like, hey, we can't sit here and talk to God and ask God to change our school and embody and empower us in these situations, knowing that there's people in this group that's not saved. Would anybody like to be saved?
Right.
And then about half the group kind of looks at me, and I'm looking like, what? The Bible says that there's more joy in heaven over one sinner. And so I'm confused because I'm looking at him.
I gotta jump, y'all, but I got one question.
What's it?
I gotta jump, but I got one question for Dwayne.
Yes,
How
sir.
you go from leading prayer in 8th grade to your walk? How you get from I gotta go.
We dig into that. We dig into that.
You gotta go.
All right, man.
But what ended up happening was I got bombarded.
Okay.
That's a personal choice.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, it is a personal choice.
Right.
But we can't put Jesus under the basket and not declare publicly that we need him and we accept him.
Right.
That was beyond the point. It was like, that's a personal choice. I don't think this is something you should do in public.
Right.
So when Pastor said that he wanted to see the voting records,
right,
I just simply said to myself, wow, it goes back to that moment. Hey, some of these things are supposed to be private. No, it ain't supposed to be private when you, I mean, especially when you work.
Right.
That's your job. It's not private. But other people, I figured out that they like to say things. Right. And the things that we like to say sometimes don't line up with what we actually do and believe. So, I think I'm with transparency.
Yeah. So I want to ask, because I've always heard about like why is voting so secret? What's up, Wingate? I want to say your first name, but I know I'm gonna jack it up, and I'm not gonna even attempt it. So if you can put it up there phonetically.
Utopia?
Say it again.
I'm assuming Utopia. I could be wrong this Wingate.
That sound right. That seemed right. All right, so let us know. Let us know if we got that right. So why is voting so secret? That's not a law. Voting being secret is not a law. You know, it is kept secret. I think because it's such a touchy thing. It's been like that forever. You know, because though we in this group talking about, you know, one side of what we agree on, when I get in that voting booth, I can vote the exact opposite of all that I speak of. You know. So why can't voting be public? Why, can you imagine if voting, like, take down not your little private booth no more, just open, anybody could see it, or like, oh man, what if your voting record is public, public notice, like everything you vote for becomes public, someone could look it up.
No hiding. You can't hide no more.
Yeah, see what you voted for.
How many how many people that you considered friends,
right,
and wherever you were in life,
right,
or people that you considered associates, whatever the case is, that deep down that they voted for candidate A.
Right.
And they know that you have an affinity with candidate B.
Right.
But they cool with you.
Right.
But they don't agree with the politics of candidate candidate B, so they go vote for candidate A. But meanwhile, AD, it is such wrong. This political system is I don't agree with it. Hey. Right. Yeah, I know y'all being suppressed. Hey. It's sometimes it's like, well, I can't even use that. No, I'm gonna use it. Let me tell you exactly what it is.
What's that?
It's like living.
Okay.
Everybody sins
Mhm.
on some level,
Right.
whether it's a sin that'll send you to hell, or
Okay.
it's something that it's not sin, but you shouldn't do if you want to live a long, healthy life.
Hey, what's
What's
up,
going
Mark?
on, Mark? So what happens is, it's my sin. I don't want nobody to see it. I'm still doing it. You don't know I'm doing it. Let me vote on this. It's the equivalent of a hidden sin.
I got you. But then I guess that goes to Sam's issue. He said, why does it need to be public? Why is it your business? Why does everybody need to know? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I know if people can see who vote for, we will have less people turn up at the polls. I don't, people get bold. People like, you know what? I don't care. You're gonna know who I voted for. He said, are you talking about regular citizens vote? Or no. I'm talking about regular citizens. We know elected official votes. You can find out all of that. And speaking of which, segueing, thank you, Cole. I just sent a text to all of the people that are part of the community, two programs or two websites that help you find these politicians, ballots, politics, what election is coming. Definitely need to know that. Ballotopedia.org and Voterly.com. Ballotopedia.org and Voterly.com. And if you listen to the podcast, it'll be in the show notes. You just clickable links. And everybody in the text community, text brothers to 84576. I just sent that out. So you have an opportunity to have that later to research and look it up. And I've been doing some digging. I've been doing some digging, and you really get an opportunity to see who's running. I know our governor's race is 2022 for Kemp. So just like just like folks do, they're able to change the rules when it's that turn coming up. So it's gonna get interesting between now and then. I think the mayoral election is coming up this year. So Kiki will be up for for her job. I'm not sure if she's running again. I'm pretty sure she is.
Did you just call Madam Mayor Kiki?
So
you need to apologize for such.
I apologize. Yes, indeed. I apologize. I was repeating what some people that are very big supporters of her called it that. But I will take that back because that is disrespectful, especially on an online platform.
Nah, bro, it's cool though because it's like
I don't even know it like
look,
that.
If your best friend call you Kiki, I'm gonna call you Kiki.
Right. But I'll take that back. Cole says I'm the type where you can give me a megaphone and I'll announce who I'm voting for and tell why the other candidates are whack. Right. But you know what? If it wasn't, I could imagine some people that are really bold and not like Cole just announced for themselves, but folks would be, like two booths down, like, yo, Dwayne, you really voting for like for real?
Yeah, see, but that's the thing, because it's not gonna be like the people, like certain people. You don't gotta ask.
Right.
Let me, like, for instance, in 2008, when Black people showed up to the ballot,
right,
I think it was safe to assume that 85% of them was voting for President Barack Obama.
Oh, right.
I don't think you had to ask.
Right.
And again, 2016, if you lived in a town smaller than 50,000 people,
right,
and you showed up to the vote and you didn't live in a major American city, chances are you voted for Donald Trump.
Right.
It's
right.
It just is what it is.
Right.
I mean, so some people, I don't, to answer Sam's question, I don't think we need to know. It'd just be nice to know. I don't think there should be any law in place or whatever that
I just always wondered, because I've heard it on podcasts. They talked about why is the vote secret? Why is it such a secret thing? But I get it. It's so personal, when it comes to all of it, even tax dollars or money going to a certain programs.
But is that really personal though?
Is it personal?
No,
it's not really
personal. If whatever it is that you do affects all of us, is it really personal?
Right.
That becomes it's a personal. Your reasoning is personal,
right?
But the vote is the furthest thing from personal.
True. True.
I mean, they actually have people who get paid pretty good money to sit and talk about your vote.
Right.
And
Right.
your vote actually
Right.
goes in and helps determine who's going to be doing what for the next X amount of years. So the vote itself isn't personal.
Right.
Now, your reason is that's personal.
Right.
But if whatever it is you're doing is going to put somebody in authority or power that's going to have any type of sway in my everyday life, it's no longer personal.
Right. He said, Cole said, I know Trump. He said, I know Trump is shooting eye daggers towards Governor Kim. He's probably saying, why didn't you put this into law 6 months ago? Cole said also, I can tell you, Dwayne, the only black person I knew didn't vote for Barack was my father, and I understood why he did. Sam said, we are all created equal, but uniquely. I should be allowed to be my unique self and vote how I choose without having to worry about defending or explaining it. Interesting.
Just because we know don't mean you got to defend what you stand by. You said what you said. I mean, it's that simple. Like, I said what I said. Okay. And if you decide to explain why, now that's a different story. Your reason is extremely personal, but I believe the vote, there's nothing personal about it.
Right. But and this is true. She said, yeah, but if I share my vote, I'm forced to explain and defend. He said, mind your business. And Cole said, singing the Backstreet Boys song with voting, singing, I want it that way. Right. You're right. Or being coerced. Right. Or being coerced and otherwise. Like, wait, whoa. What you, don't push that. Don't push that button. So yeah, I could imagine the craziness. Even families, like, families probably travel together to go vote, and it's like, yo, what you doing? So I could definitely imagine the chaos with it, having the votes public, even after, like, Sam, I can't believe he voted that way.
Look, the second time around, I didn't vote for President Obama. And look, the same way the typical black Republican generally gets treated, I understand that feeling. But I don't have, but you know me, it don't take much for you to get an explanation out of me. All you gotta do is ask me, and I'm like, okay, this is why. And everybody ain't like that, and I get it. But yeah, I ain't gonna beat the dead horse.
So don't we have enough to debate over already? Why add to it? You're right, no doubt. So let me ask you, Dwayne. So I know you've mentioned it before. What are some of the ways that you have become an informed voter? Like, what has helped you to get the best information or the correct information or the least opinionated information?
Well, two things. One, I can't say that I've fully become that person yet.
Okay.
I'm still,
I'm with you.
Learn every day.
Right.
But I'm a lot better than I was in my 20s.
Right.
And with me, the thing that led me to that was when you start having children, there's a whole lot of other things that you have to start worrying about. You know how when you have a toddler, it's like, okay, are these edges too sharp? If they run and hit this, are they going to cut themselves? So I found myself having to worry about things in life that once before I didn't have to worry about. And now I was like, oh, wait a minute. I got 4 kids in school. And having 4 kids in school, where this tax money going? Right. Okay, what programs are they cutting? So it kind of forced you in a position to okay, I need to know this. I need to understand this. So when that started happening, I started, because it started being something that directly affected me, at least in my head, it was going to affect me anyway, but I didn't quite know. But when you have a child and they say, okay, the school is losing 20% of their funding, and they got it rolled into page 75 on Proposition 5A-2, and you saying all these things riding around town, vote on Proposition 5A.2.
Right.
No. You don't even know what it is.
Right. You just keep saying no.
Vote no. Vote yes.
Right.
And then you try to weed through it, and you're like, why do they want me to vote on this? I read the first 25 pages and I don't see nothing. But on page 74 and a half, right before the end, there was like, and all new monies will be diverted to this.
Right.
So that's what pushed me. I hate not knowing.
Yeah.
Especially when it's something that affects me.
Yeah.
Now, I don't feel too bad when it's something that really doesn't affect me that much. If I miss it on that,
right,
I'm not okay with it.
Right.
But I ain't finna lose no sleep over it.
Right.
But if it's something that directly affects me,
yeah,
and I allow it to slip through the cracks, then I'm kind of pissy with myself.
Right. Listen, I'm gonna tell on myself. So me and Sam were discussing like the voting. I think it was the primaries, voting for the Democrat to run, I think for the Senate. We was going through some of the names, and of course Reverend Warnock was on there, and Sam was like, "What about Warnock?" I was like, "I don't know who that is." So I forgot who we picked or whatever, and then of course his advertisements started coming in. She's like, "I know we should have picked Warnock," listening to you. So so we've been really becoming more vigilant and becoming informed voters as to he said make sure you tell on yourself.
She was going to tell on you. Look, she was going to snitch on you even if you didn't snitch on yourself.
I had to take that L, and there was like
your wife gonna get you
right. I had an app to and it's funny having a mail-in vote. You get a chance to look at it and Google some things and research. That was the best part about the mail-in, like to sit and actually see the ballot. How you low key telling me too? No, listen, I was leading, so I was the influencer. So he said how to be an informed voter, put down the pom poms. He said so. You definitely have to just do the research, like and it's still, like I said, it's still you still gotta like, should I, shouldn't I? Because I think one was about no tax on nonprofits buying property or something of that nature. And you're like, should I, and you just, but at least know what you're voting for, and even politicians, they have to go through stacks of papers sometimes, and they have to make sure they're reading most of it. Like the healthcare bill, dudes is like, yeah, we read half. Yeah, I signed. Even Republicans like, I signed it. I didn't read all the way through. Like, I wouldn't even said that on I wouldn't let nobody know I read the whole, one job. You should have had staffers go through the whole bill to know what's in there, So yeah, it's I know
but it was long, AD.
But you need to take some of my little salary, my little $100 and something thousand I'm making a year, and get some staffers. Hey, your one job is to read through that bill and comb through it. 2 or 3 people, you take this court, you take 1 to 50, you take 50 to 100. I want to take 100 to 150. Listen, go through it and tell me what you see.
Why can't they just audio bill it?
Right.
They put it on tape and let us listen to somebody read it. And then if I'm feeling it, then hey, go back to hour 28 minutes and 11 seconds. What did it say again?
Listen, that's like listening to what's that, Chronicles on audio. He begets such and such, and then he begets such and such, and then they beget such and such, and beget, and then they beget, and then they beget. like wait, what? about the 7th beget? I don't even know. Then of course, and then they beget Jesus. Wait, go back one. Wait, okay. So it's rough. It's rough. So I think it's a lot with the bills and things, but you got to at least have an idea, like I'll look up bills and then I look at what other people say. I look at both sides. He said people like McConnell, right? Be like, besides, I have a book that makes me $1 million. Why waste my time being a politician? Right. Oh man, that dude. I went to a website that was actually showing how much that dude makes. How much, Sam? I think it was like $23 a minute or some junk like that. A minute. And I think we was driving somewhere. I was like, from here to there in 6 minutes, dude is made. I was like, this is crazy. It's crazy.
Gives you a whole another meaning of time is money.
Right. So we're talking about being informed voter. So I mentioned the two websites, and I put that in the to all my text community, so you can just click on it, check it out later. And it's definitely, you put your state in, find out when the next voting cycle, find out the next governor's race, find out the local elections. I'm telling you, these are great resources. When I get more, we're gonna discuss those as well. Hey, Ms. Jordan. Hey, good morning. Good morning. So my thing is, okay, so the next thing is how to begin to leverage your vote, right? Dr. Claude Anderson talks about, voting in blocks, coming together, having an agenda, or knowing what you want change in your community, and voting in blocks, saying we 100 people will vote for you if you at least promise to do this thing. And yes, there is no guarantee that they will do it, but at the same time, if they renege on the deal that you guys make, there's the kicking them out of office the next go around. You 100 people come together, contribute to take this politician out of office. So no one will want people coming up against them. I think it helps build the community that you want, but you got to know who's running, and you have to reach an understanding with the people that you're going to vote with. Like, okay, we agree that these 3 things or these 2 things that we want changed in our community. We're going to go to the sheriff. We're going to go to the district attorney, whoever it is, the governor or mayor. And these things we want changed, because in the local community, $1,000 could mean more. It moves a little further in your local elections as opposed to like even your state or national elections.
And depending on just how small you are, you're doing that in the local setting is as easy as going to the diner and like, hey, look, Bob. Hey, I know you got some pressure. Right. But just know, I'm tell you like my mama told me. Right. We put you into this political world. If you keep voting and acting like you're doing, we'll take you out of here too. Right. Leverage that vote. It matters. When it matters, it matters. Yes. That's why a vote can be leveraged. I think you have way more to leverage on the local level than you ever could leverage on the national level. So when it comes to the local voting, know the people. Right. If you're in a town of 10,000 people and you don't know who your mayor is, if he's never seen you before, never had to say, hey, how you doing? Goodson, right? Right. They needed, look, Pimp C, a great poet, once said, they're going to smell my cologne. Meaning, you got to come see me, or I'm coming to see you. So you want to leverage your vote in the local economy, if you will, it's the perfect place. Right. Because not only have you probably grown up with them, you got access. Right. You have access. And not everybody can go to DC. Anybody can go to DC, and most people can get a tour of the White House if they want. Right. Just because you go get a tour don't mean you hitting up the West Wing. Right. But in your local spot, oh, the fish fry spot they be eating at. Right. But you gotta think about this right here. So if I was, if I was rocking politics, like I was doing a local thing, like say we're doing right now, back in like the 80s, right? Remember Joe Biden used to be a local politician. So I'm building a reputation. I'm building a rapport with Joe Biden, right? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody moves in steps. Who's in Washington now? Who's at the head? Who's getting notified now? Was a small politician back in the day, So this is where the movement happens, the leverage happens, because as my influence grows in this space, his influence is growing in his space. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, it's like now, like, yo, what up, Joe? Oh, hey, AD, what up, brother? I made you. Right. I mean, and we ain't got to get to there yet, though. You back in 1964. We ain't got to get to there yet. It's like, yo, no, that's my man, AD. Let him through. Like I'm taking pictures, like, oh, my man, Joe. We've been rocking since 1975. So it's that leverage, because every small politician becomes a big. Well, not every, but a lot of politicians that's been in this game long enough, without term limits. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Have been in this game a long time.
So it gives you an opportunity to really grow and really, your local politician turns into national politicians. He said, Cole says, our sheriffs, judges, mayors, and city council members impact our everyday lives a whole lot more than a governor, representatives, senators, and presidents ever will. Exactly. Judges, having the right judges in place. He said, good times, poked fun at how the local politicians were with Alderman Davis. They actually had a character walk into his area's home to campaign at the kitchen table. Right. He said, no, right, no term limits. Strong third, right.
Right. It's crazy because my home state is known for some amazing things and then some horrific things too. And some of the things that, like, yeah, we gave y'all Black Panther. We gave y'all Chad. But we also gave y'all Lindsey and Strom.
Right. I
mean, Strom Thurmond was in office longer than my mama was married, and my mama got married in 1957. Just so you know, my mama got married in 1957, and Strom Thurmond was in office when she got married. When her husband died in around the turn of the century, that sounds crazy saying that,
right.
But when he died around the turn of the century,
right.
Strom Thurmond still was in office.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and nobody cares about what he was voting for. Right. Nobody cared about what he was voting for. Oh, Strom Thurmond? Yeah, that one. Yeah,
right.
That one.
Right. Oh man. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's because I mean, and I know term limits for some may not be a good one because they like who they got and they had them for the last 50 years. It's been good. We've been good here. But I believe, people just in office way too long. But then how does someone, well, I mean, I kind of know, like, how does someone continuously get voted in that you have what seems like they seem unpopular, but they always seem to keep their job? They seem, because like I said, the voting.
Because my vote is private, Anthony.
3 words.
Three words. You know how they keep getting voted in?
How's that?
The distinguished gentleman.
Oh, the name, the common name.
You remember? You're right.
Yes, right. I remember that
because most people don't do research.
Right.
So they
I know him.
What they've heard. Familiarity.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That movie. You're right. You know what? That movie is powerful because that name. You're right. Right. Yeah. If y'all ain't seen it with Eddie Murphy, it is a great movie. One of his greatest, not propped up movie, but it's a great movie. It was good. It's really good.
Enlightening.
Yes. Yep. Very much so.
Exposes the shenanigans of politics.
Yes.
And how you can win by name only.
Oh, yeah.
Why is Meghan McCain on a talk show? Because she don't have anything to say, but why is she on a talk show? Because of her last name.
Right.
Her last name. Yeah.
Right.
My name is Meghan McCain. I'm John's daughter. On TV.
We had how many Trumps?
Right.
In the White House?
Right.
And how many of them do you feel were qualified of all the Trumps that were in the White House? You don't have to answer that. You're not answer. That's a heart. He's doing a heart. He's doing a heart. He didn't do well in art class. That's a heart. He didn't.
Oh man.
I think Ivanka was the most qualified of all the Trumps that was in the White House.
She acted. She had a good acting. She's doing some good acting.
In all seriousness, I think I believe that I don't think term limits are a problem. If you like your candidate, if your candidate is productive, then you'll keep voting them in.
Right.
In my hometown, we had a challenge for mayor.
Okay.
We had our first Black mayor in my hometown, the town I grew up in. I won't say my hometown because I haven't lived there in 30 years.
Right.
But they had the first Black mayor, female, and She was in there trying to get a lot of work done, but it was a lot of like what Barack Obama experienced.
Right.
It's a Republican city with
Right.
its first Black Democratic mayor,
Right.
but the infrastructure was Republican.
Right.
But she was voted in because she had something to say.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But when she got voted in, there were so many people that were anti movement or anti her agenda,
Right.
that were against her agenda, that she was crippled. She couldn't get a whole lot done.
Right.
And so came time to vote again, to reelect her. And you had people from her own community challenging her. In fact, one person from her own community ran as a Republican to challenge her. Yeah, homeboy of mine. And I'm not against him.
Right.
I just felt like he went that route.
Right.
All right, bro, have a good day. Hey,
Right,
man,
man.
you need to call me, Mark. Let me know how yesterday went, man. You owe me a phone call, bro.
Call him.
So instead of aligning himself with her, he decided to run against her and disrupt any momentum that you had from your community to shift or change to alter the agenda. And that's the thing. That's
so he did a Kanye?
Huh?
He did a Kanye.
He did a Kanye?
Oh,
We can't be out here Kanyeing each other now. Matter of fact, y'all need Kanye.
Kanye. That's good. That's actually gonna be
But I like, but
Kanye and
but like I like Pastor. I don't care about term limits as much. But one thing that I would like to see, I would like to see the retirement stipulations change, because as a congressman, you do one term, you do one full term,
right.
You are retiring for life,
right.
with I think 80% of your salary, one term.
Yeah.
Wow.
How long is a term in Congress?
Wow.
For life, buddy. Give me that money. It's better than military retirement, because one, they don't pay us all that much, and then after like 20 years, you get like 70%, and then if you want 100%, you gotta get like 26 years with an injury or something.
Yeah.
But Congress, one term.
Wow. Right. Right. That's it. I'm good.
Maybe I should consider politics.
I know. listen. I'm like,
Hey, one, just win one.
right.
I only need one ring.
Yeah, look, you can be like the old Gary Payton. Let me go to Miami and get this ring real quick.
Listen, Pastor, this is what we're gonna do. You first. You're gonna do your term. Then you're gonna prop me up.
Right.
Get me in there. I'm gonna do mine. Then I'm gonna get Dwayne in there. We good. And we could really be on here. We're gonna call it the Old Representative Show.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing, the only reason when I found out about this, it was because, and I'm just describing the situation. I'm not casting dispersions in any direction. I'm just describing the situation. So we had President Clinton was in office, and I was a private. And one thing that Pastor and anybody else who's ever served can tell you is, come the end of December, if you're a soldier, Marine, sailor, airman, whatever they call the people in the Coast Guard, you're waiting patiently for the beginning of the year, because you want to know what percentage of increase your pay is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And it was one of those where we got a 2.1%. I remember it because Bush gave us a fat 8.4%. His first year in office, but we had it was like a 2.1% pay increase, and I was like, "Hey, we got a raise." I didn't know no better. I'm a private.
All excited.
Yeah, I don't know no better. And then the platoon sergeant come around. Now he done been in for about 13, 14 years. Oh, rotten E7. He like, you sitting here yelling, complaining, and being grateful about this little 2%. He was like, I remember when Big Bush gave us this. And I was like, man, calm down. We got a raise. He was like, nah, you think this is a raise? He was like, go check out your congressman. They serve one term and they get retired. I got to get shot at. I got to deal with y'all stinking, nasty little jokers, and I got to do it for 26 years before I get 100%.
It
was big man.
Here's my response, if not a retort,
right,
to that position by that whoever that leader was talking to you. When I got hired for a job, I had peers of mine, fellow engineers, who were doing the same job I was doing, and they started complaining about their pay. And I said, I love my pay.
right,
You don't tell people what you make.
right,
But it was obvious to me that I was making more than they were making. And I was the new guy.
right.
And I would hear them complain. And they were saying things like, well, man, you come in here and you're not mad because you're probably making more than I'm making. And I've been here 6 years, and I'm like, yeah, but who negotiated your salary?
Right, right, right.
You understand? How are you going to complain about a salary that you negotiated?
Right.
That's the problem. And so when you start comparing, and I tell people, stay out of folks' wallets. Don't be in my wallet. Get out of my pocket. People choose their paths.
No doubt. Yes, indeed. That's true.
Don't get a job and start working and complain about the salary when you were there in the interview process.
Right.
You didn't have to take the job.
That's true.
So I've had people leave the company, go away, stay gone a year, come back just so that they can increase their salary. I'm gonna tell this. Let me say this story. Give you this story real quick, because we do complain, and I know we're shifting away from this, but you said something and it hit me, and this might help somebody. The 2%, 2.5%, 2.1% versus 8% raise. I was told about 23 years ago, I was told I was working a job, and I was transitioning from one classification of a job to another. And they told me that the maximum increase that you could get was like for a move, a transition from one classification to another was like 4%. Right. And at the time, I think I was making, my base was like 55,000. Okay. But the position I was going to, the base, the starting pay was like 69, and the average person was making about 72. So I asked them for 72,000 based on the average. And somebody said, man, you've lost your mind. They'll never do that. I said, well, if they want me to transition into that position, they will. Yeah, but they just don't do that. Human resources says, I'm like, human resources? I'm like, are you telling me that's written somewhere? Because I can't find it in any book, and I said, Lord, I want this position.
Right.
Lord, you see what everybody else is making. Lord, I'm not asking for more than what I feel like I'm deserving of.
Right.
So Lord, if they want me to be in this position, can't this be so? And you know what? I got 75,000.
Nice.
I went from 55,000 to 75,000 as my base pay. Right. And I didn't tell anybody on the job. I told my wife.
Right.
And we celebrated at home.
Right.
And so what I'm saying is, it's nobody's business, but please don't complain when you're doing the negotiating.
Right.
That's crazy. So
no doubt.
Ooh.
All right. Tahan said, we've seen moves like that throughout slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, all the way to present day. Skin folk will always turn against or be used against a positive Black movement. That's part of the system. And Cole said, so all the representatives serves one term, get 80% for their salary for life. That's just 2 years. Now I will say,
let me correct myself. It is 5 years.
But I will say, the small defense, it is a lot to run. It's a lot on you. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of campaigning.
It is some work. You ask for.
Yeah, right. That too. I won't say it's it ain't the easiest job. I'm not a fan of McConnell, but I know he had to work his butt to get there, and then he has to work his butt off the state to be there. This many decades later, that's a lot lot of compromising. a lot of compromising.
And Taiwan, you're absolutely correct. The only response I would give to that is, you call that part of the system, but I call that part of people's behavior, right? Because it may be a problem, but I don't think that is a systemic problem. I think that's a behavioral problem. Yeah, because that behavior from our community isn't part of any system.
Right.
Right. We have complete control over that.
Yeah. He said, oh yeah, this term I heard a lot. It's true, man. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Let's see. Okay. This Mr. Richard. All right.
Hey Richard, how you doing, man?
Yes, sir. All right. So make sure you guys, if you've not, like I said, we're all about educating and trying to get better with our voting. Tomorrow we're going to dig further with Tomorrow Thursday. Might have some more folk on. I think Terry will be here. We're going to be digging into another level of voting and talking more about leveraging your vote, voting in blocks, coming together. Because like I've been saying, this thing is very important. And this is going to be, we kind of joked in the beginning of the show at the top of the hour, a quarter to the hour. We're going to be, so I'm going to fit voting. This conversation is not going to stop after this week. We're just really digging into it this week, but this will be part of our continuous conversation as well as other conversations. So there's going to be segments, sectionalizing, and we're going to be about a 3-hour show. So make sure you are following, make sure you are connecting. And if you're feeling led to seed into Brothers of Legacy, please do so. Help us increase our impact. Cash App, $BOL 2019, Cash App BOL 2019. Be a part of the movement, as well as join our text community, which is completely free. Text Brothers to 84576. Text Brothers to 84576. Because right now, just those that are part, I just sent the links to some of the ways to research your ballot and your politicians, your bills, know who's voting what. 2 great sites, Ballotpedia.org and Voterly.com. Ballotpedia.org and Voterly.com. Can we get back to Fun Friday?
She just took me back to school, bro. That's what we used to call it in school, Fun Friday.
Yes,
wait,
indeed.
Bro.
Yes, indeed.
She's a retired teacher. So.
Right. Yeah, we'll bust out a game or something. We're gonna lighten it up. We'll lighten it up on Friday. I promise you. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. So make sure you share, tag somebody. We are having some important conversations about our community and how this is how you begin to change your community, by voting. We should say, not complaining. No, you're good. You good. Listen, you good.
It'll sound like a complaint to me.
No.
Hey, Mom.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry, Mom. I apologize.
Hey, go ahead and get that leather ready, Mama. Go ahead and get that chancla, aka the sandal, aka the house shoe ready.
Do it too much.
Oh man. All right. So we appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us every day and supporting us. Appreciate you, Mama Corey. I know you do. We appreciate you. We love you. We ain't gonna pay Pastor no never mind. We ain't gonna pay him no never mind.
I gotta talk to my mother later on, so I gotta be careful.
Look, look, it's gonna be like the 5 heartbeats. Every night I gotta prove my love to
you. All right, guys. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Like I said, make sure you join the community, join the tech community, because every resource, everything we connect to, we're gonna definitely share with you and let you know all the things that we're doing, all the changes we're a part of in our community as well, and the new things that are coming down the pipe. Be a part of that, definitely. So text Brothers to 84576, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. Make sure you share this broadcast. If you're on Facebook, inbox some people, say, listen, these brothers are talking some stuff. Remember, we was just talking about this last week, yesterday, 2 hours ago. Just inbox, let them know that we are here, and make sure you share. Appreciate the shares. I appreciate you guys being here, because you could be watching a million other things but you're watching us. So I do not take it for granted. All right. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Always know that we love you, but God loves you more. Stay safe, and just stay safe. Peace out, guys.
I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Good morning, everybody.